2015 Alamo City Open. We're live in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Laura McCormick with the WRT, and our first match of the day here is Jake Bredenbeck and Alex Landa. Score right now is 3 serving 2. And another point for Jake Bredenbeck. Jake Bredenbeck starting out really well here in game 1 against Alex Landa. Rip from Alex Landa in the back of the court, getting some love from the crowd. All tied up now, 5-5 in game 1. Score is 6-5 right now in game 1. Jake Bredenbeck in the lead against Alex Landa. 8 serving 5 as we open up the 2015 Alamo City Open with a tough quarterfinal between number 2 Jake and number 7 Alex Landa. We'll be right back with more from the Alamo City Open in just a moment. And we're back live at the 2015 Alamo City Open, where we are wrapping up our year-end event here for the 2015 WRT season. I'm Laura McCormick, and we thank you for your patience as we're getting our audio up and working here at the Thousand Oaks YMCA live in San Antonio. Score is 8 serving 5 as we open up the tournament this weekend with the quarterfinal. Alex Landa making his way out here to San Antonio, Texas for the final WRT event, matching up against number 2 Jake Bredenbeck. Now these two have matched up before, and most notably in Juarez, where Alex Landa has won all 4 WRT titles from each Juarez Open and Juarez Grand Slam. Jake has faced him twice in the finals. So the last time these two met up was in May. And a point for Alex Landa. Both Jake and Alex are power players. Although we have seen some really intense rallies, the power is these guys' specialty. And a point for Alex Landa. Alex Landa is a 6-time WRT champion. All right, Landa closing the gap now against Bredenbeck. Second serve, that first serve is short. The WRT does play by the IRF rules, so they do get 2 serves. Landa's starting to look really comfortable now, tying it up 9-9. Looks like he's gaining his confidence, maybe working out some kinks there in the beginning. It's all tied up now, game 1. And a side out for Jake Bredenbeck as Landa looks a little frustrated. Bredenbeck firing off that serve, trying to gain the momentum back. Landa sides him out. With that, Alex Landa in the lead 10-9. lucky crack there for Landa. It looks like he knows that as he holds up his racket towards Jake. Nice shot placement and a good pass from Jake Bredenbeck as he places the ball in the back of the court, gets that side out, down by 2 in game 1. Nice controlled pinch from Bredenbeck for a point. Like a misread. Guys looking for a towel as things are heating up in game 1. What a way to open up the 2015 Alamo City Open. This is the second time the WRT has been in San Antonio, Texas. And it's been another great experience so far here this weekend. Coming up right after this, of course, there are more quarterfinals. David Bobby Horn versus Anthony Herrera. After that, we'll have Jaime Martel versus Felipe Munoz. And our final quarterfinal of the day features Alex Cardona and Nicolai Miramontes. So don't go anywhere. There's lots more racquetball all day here. And what a way to open up the quarterfinals with number 7, Alex Landa versus number 2, Jake Bredenbeck. And a tight game 1 so far. Point for Bredenbeck, ties it up 11-11. Skip by Landa gives Bredenbeck the advantage. Now he's up by 1. Couple unforced errors from Landa, and there's Bredenbeck in the lead again. Well, hopefully I didn't just jinx Jake Bredenbeck as he makes an unforced error on an easy setup. That's going to side out for Landa. Another lucky crack for Landa. That ball dying just under Jake's racket. That should tie it up now. Oops, excuse me. Landa's in the lead now by 1. 13 serving 12. Two for a point for Landa. Now game point for Alex Landa. Jake Bredenbeck gonna call a timeout. See if he could shake this off. We'll be right back with more of Landa and Bredenbeck right after this. And we're back live in San Antonio for the 2015 Alamo City Open, where Alex Landa just took the lead with a couple points, and now it's 14 serving 12. Great get from Jake. Nice cross court from Alex Landa. Closes out game one, 15-12 over Jake Bredenbeck. We'll be back with more of game two in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody, Anthony with Gearbox. Have you ever wondered when or why you should get your racket restrung? What signs to look for? Well, I'm here to shed some light on those questions. First, we need to talk about the function of a good string bed. The main purpose of the string is to stretch upon the impact of the ball, then snap back in a consistent manner. This is called the string's resiliency. Basically, a higher resiliency means you decrease the amount of mishits, and we all could use a little bit of that. Now that we know the function of a good string, we can talk about why you should restring your racket. This will involve three major points: string breakdown, tension, and notching. Number one, string is primarily composed of plastic. Plastic is susceptible to a process called creeping. Creeping is the breakdown over time due to overuse and exposure to UV rays. Inside the string, there is moisture and oils. In the creeping process, those get lost and string becomes dry and brittle. The second focus is on string tension. You might not realize it, but string immediately loses its tension once it's played with. It will relax to a much lower tension after the first game of play. So if you're one of those people that like it tight, you better get your racket restrung regularly. Third, after repeated hitting, string will have an effect called notching. Notching is when the string makes a notch or a groove at the cross point of two strings. When you have these notches in the string does not stretch and snap back efficiently. Lastly, you probably want to know how often you should get your racket restrung. The Gearbox general rule of thumb is to restring your racket the same number of times you play a week. So if you play about 3 times a week, we suggest you restring your racket about 3 times a year. If you have any questions about string, what type to use, different levels of tension, or general questions about our products, feel free to call one of our specialists or shoot us an email and we'll gladly help. That's all for now. Time for me to go restring my racket.
And we're back live in San Antonio, where Alex Landa has won game one over Jake Bredenbeck 15-12. Bredenbeck out there on the court warming up and ready to attack, I'm sure, in game two. Be interesting to see what Jake switches up now against Landa. Those two are tied up 9-9 in game one, then again at 12-12 before Landa took the lead. Anything can happen. Here's game two. Jake firing off the serve quickly. And then a side out for Landa. And a side out for Jake as he keeps it at 0-0 in game two. Nice soft touch for a point. 1-0. legs didn't work for Jake. Side out for Landa. Alex Landa facing two players from San Antonio here in the early rounds of the Alamo City Open. He played against number 26, Eric Munoz, defeating him 3-6, and then number 23, Karus Shatabi, beating him 3-0. If you guys want to check out the draw and see the path these guys took to get here, go to bit.ly/Alamo City 15. And a big windup and setup there for Bredenbeck. He's able to capitalize on that. Nice rally between Landa and Bredenbeck early in game 2. And a point for Alex Landa. All tied up again, 2-2. These two have matched up 2 times before. Both times were in Juarez, where Alex Landa was the victor. They matched up in August in the finals of the Juarez Grand Slam 2014, and in May, again in the finals. Bredenbeck now doubling his lead over Landa. This would be the first time Bredenbeck has defeated Landa if he can pull off that task today. Landa is a 6-time WRT champion, Bredenbeck 3-time WRT champion. From Jake. Just out of reach on that cross court from Landa. Previously, Landa has won the Vina Del Mar Open, the San Diego Open in 2013. Then in 2014, he won the Juarez Open over Javier Moreno. He was also the Juarez Open champion in 2013, defeating Polo Gutierrez. And then 2 times Grand Slam and the Juarez Open over Jake Bredenbeck.
4-4.
All tied up. Jake Bredenbeck's previous titles include all in 2015. First the Sonora Open in January, then the Midwest Championship in his home state of Minnesota in May, and then the Kitsap Splat just in November this year. Ooh, unfortunate there for Jake. Nice rally between the two of these. Landa reading Jake's shot selection really well. Two bounces. Big rally for both players, both known for their power and getting kind of locked here in a long rally. And an error from Jake, no points earned here. Jake's gonna call a timeout, see if he can recollect. We'll be right back with more in just a minute. And we're back live at the 2015 Alamo City Open. We do have something special for the fans this weekend. We're including the fans in our 2015 year-end player awards. We're gonna get the fans' votes, and you can do that by going to bit.ly/WRT vote. Awards include Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sportsmanship Award, and Player of the Year. Now, the Player of the Year is determined by who has the most points and ends the year as #1. So that is not up for the vote. But if you go to bit.ly/WRT vote, you can vote for Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, and the Sportsmanship Award. So, of course, we encourage our fans to participate with us here on the WRT. You can also go to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and follow us there. And don't forget, all of our past events are available on youtube.com/World Racquetball. Landa now in the lead in game 2, 7-4. And another point for Alex Landa. power from Jake from back in the court. I think that's something he needs to do against Alex Landa, not play so much the short game, but keep throwing Landa to the back of the court. Looked like a skip from here, but it's now 5-9. Six serving 9. Bredenbeck starting to put more pressure on Landa, although Landa is a good retriever. A couple points in a row for Bredenbeck, 7-9. Great pass for Alex Landa for the side out. Ooh, and a point for Landa. Coming up after this, we have David Bobby Horn, who's seeded number 3 against Anthony Herrera, number 6. Side out for Jake as he breaks some of Landa's rhythm there on the serve. Ooh, and an ace serve for Jake Bredenbeck to tie it up 10-10. And on that, Alex Landa is going to take a timeout. We'll be right back as things are tied up now in game 2, 10-10. And we're back live for the Alamo City Open. I'm Laura McCormick with the WRT. This is game 2 of our first quarterfinal of the day between Jake Bredenbeck and Alex Landa, where it's all tied up 10-10. Coming up after this, there is more racquetball, so don't go anywhere, folks. There's David Bobby Horn versus Anthony Herrera. Right after that, we have Jaime Martel versus Felipe Munoz, and then Alex Cardona versus Nicolai Miramontes. Our referee today is Felipe Munoz. We always appreciate players stepping up to ref. And a point for Jake Bredenbeck. That timeout not going the way Landa wanted. Two in a row for Bredenbeck. Big rip in the front of the court for Alex Landa, giving him the side out, and an opportunity now to answer back against Jake's 2 in a row after Landa's timeout. Ooh, nice get. Nice shot selection from Jake Bredenbeck. We see Landa going after Bredenbeck's backhand on the serve. Jake holding strong in that rally and now siding out. Looks like there's a safety hinder. They'll replay that. Another long rally between these two. Jake frustrating Alex Landa as he gets a point. Jake 3 away from sending this to breaker. skip for Bredenbeck, an unforced error. Landa looking for the skip, but from here it looks good. It's going to go to Jake's favor.
12-11.
Oh, and a pretty signature behind the back jig hit. And another side out. These guys have sided out about 6 times here with no points scored. Let's see if somebody's going to switch up something on the serves, which hadn't seemed to have been too effective yet in game 2. And a point for Bredenbeck. With that, he moves the score finally. This is a turning point now for Jake. He needs to get points, keep himself up in the lead, close out game 2, and send it to breaker if he wants a chance at moving on at the Alamo City Open.
14-11.
2 bounces. Now Jake in a good position to close out game 2. This is his first game point. Ooh, ref calls a short serve. Jake surprised, thinking it's an ace. Not happy with that. The crowd seems to be on Jake's side as well, but he's going to have to serve a second serve because what the ref says goes. Oh, and then Jake skips it. Just adding to the frustration. And another skip from Jake gives Landa a point. Jake really needs his side out right now. Hopefully Jake can move on after that bad call. Looks like he's going to take a timeout and see if he can do just that. We'll be back with more of Landa and Bredenbeck. And we're back live at the 2015 Alamo City Open, where Jake Bredenbeck calling the timeout as he's in a game point situation, but Landa scoring a point and kind of throwing Jake off after a bad call on, well, what Jake perceives as a bad call on that ace serve. Second serve. And a side out for Bredenbeck, giving him his second game point opportunity. Looks like that was a good timeout for Jake. He got what he wanted. And now he's back in the service box. He's gonna have to go for a second serve. Too much power on that one. And a rollout from Alex Landa, not giving anything to Jake. Landa wants to close out game 2 and silence Bredenbeck. Nice diving get from Jake. Playing good defense. Landa with a nice shot and now ties it up 14-14. Looks like there's a wet spot, so Jake can grab the towel and wipe it down. Hopefully recollect his thoughts here, as now this will be match point for Alex Landa. If Landa can close out game 2, he'll be moving on to the semifinals, which of course we'll be broadcasting live later this evening. Coming up right after this, David Bobby Horn versus Anthony Herrera. These two have matched up several times before, so that'll be a really interesting quarterfinal. Right after that, we'll have Jaime Martel and Felipe Munoz, and then Alex Cardona versus Nicolai Miramontes. So don't go anywhere. There's lots more racquetball with the World Racquetball Tour. And another opportunity for Jake Bredenbeck, his third game point. Nice get. A lot of defense there from Jake as Landa wins the rally. This will be Landa's second match point opportunity. Let's see if Jake can hold on one more time. short serve. And with that, Alex Landa closes out the match 15-14 over Jake Bredenbeck. That means Alex Landa will be playing in the semifinals later this evening. Don't go anywhere, folks. There's more with the WRT coming up next. David Bobby Horn versus Anthony Herrera.